स्वतिं व्यासं तथोजयामुदीरये नष्टप्रायेष भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्ति भवति नैष्टिकी. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 10 and Text 27. Vaikṛtaha traya evaite vaikṛtastraya evaite devasargaha cha sattama devasargascha sattama vaikārikaha tu yaha proktaha vaikārikastu yaha proktaha Kumāraha tu bhayatmakaha Kumārastu bhayatmakaha vaikṛtastraya evaite devasargasya sattama vaikārikastu yaha proktaha Kumārastu bhayatmakaha. Vaikṛtaha, creations of Brahma, trayaha, three kinds, eva, certainly, ete, all these, deva sargaha, appearance of demigods, cha, also, sattama, O good Vidura, vaikārikaha, creation of demigods by nature, tu, but, yaha, which, proktaha, described before, Kumāraha, the four Kumāras, tu, but, ubhaya atmakaha, both ways, namely vaikṛta and prākṛta. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swamy Srila Prabhupada. Translation: O good Vidura, these last three creations and the creation of demigods, the 10th creation, are vaikṛta creations, which are different from the previously described prākṛta, natural creations. The appearance of Kumāras is both. Please repeat, O good Vidura, these last three creations and the creation of demigods, the 10th creation, are vaikṛta creations, which are different from the previously described prākṛta, natural creations. The appearance of the Kumāras is both. Text 28 and 29, I will read it by myself. Deva sargas chasta vidho vibudha pitaro asuraha gandharva apsarasah siddha yaksharakshams charana bhuta preta pisasascha vidyadara kinnaradaya dashaite vidurakhyata sargaste vishvashukrita. Translation: the creation of the demigods is of eight varieties. 1. The demigods. 2. The forefathers. 3. The asuras or demons. 4. The Gandharvas and Apsaras or angels. 5. The Yakshas and Rakshasas. 6. The Siddhas, Charanas and Vidyadharas. 7. The Bhutas, Pretas and Pishachas. And 8. The superhuman beings, celestial singers, etc. All are created by Brahma, the creator of the universe. Purport: as explained in the second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the Siddhas are inhabitants of Siddhaloka, where the residents travel in space without vehicles. At their mere will, they can pass from one planet to another without difficulty. Therefore, in the upper planets, the inhabitants are far superior to the inhabitants of this planet in all matters of art, culture, and science, since they possess brains superior to those of human beings. The spirits and jinn mentioned in this connection are also counted among the demigods because they are able to perform uncommon functions not possible for men. Dasansta Bhaktivedanta Purport. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Ena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pasyata Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we have been hearing about the various divisions of creation. We have heard about the ninth one. Now here the ninth one is the creation of the demigods. So the list of demigods, the 8 varieties are mentioned here. The demigods, the forefathers, the asuras, the demons, Gandharva, Apsara, Yaksha, Rakshasa, Siddha, Charana, Vidyadhara, Bhuta, Preta, Pishacha, and then the Kinnaras, superhuman beings. They are all created by Brahma. So the first striking point is that from the beginning of creation, there are varieties of living entities. And the variety is perceived in terms of, Prabhupada is mentioning here, performing uncommon functions. Human being has a tendency to feel that he is the most superior person, a superior race in this planet, and everything else in this universe is empty. There are no other people there. So he is the one who has to go there and develop those planets and make those planets put to use. Or if at all some people are there, then develop them also. And then ensure that the modern democratic civilization is established everywhere. But here, Prabhupada is mentioning that there are 8 varieties of categories. They are always superior to human beings. Although they are superior, so that's why they are termed as demigods. It is not in terms of the quality, in terms of the uncommon functions. Bhuta, Preta, Pishacha, Yaksha, Rakshasa, Apsara, Gandharva, Siddha. For example, Prabhupada is quoting the example of a Siddha. They live in Siddha Loka, and then they can travel in space without vehicles. For example, currently human society is trying to travel to Mars. Previously they tried Moon. Looks like there's some problem. So they are now trying to travel to Mars. Recently they said in Mars there could be possibility of water. So that means there is some life. Slowly they are coming to the Vedic conclusion that all planets are already having inhabitants. They are not empty for us to go and occupy and then I exploit. So the Siddhas, they can travel without any vehicles, and then at their mere will, they can pass from one planet to another planet without difficulty. They have to just decide, I'll go from here to Mars, I'll go from here to Moon. They can go without difficulty. They need not have to fill up any petrol and put on some thrust and then they have to zoom, they'll go away. Not like that. These Siddhas, they have an inbuilt ability to, just by mere will, they can go from one planet to another planet. Like as we see in some movies that we see some gods, they're flying across spaces. We also see Narada Muni traveling from one planet to another planet. These are all not fairy stories. They are not mythological things. They are not false things. They are actually reality. Human being may not be able to understand that such powerful people can be present. But if one reads Bhagavatam, the pride of the human being will be crushed. They will realize that yes, there are many, many living entities in this creation done by the Almighty Lord, and they are more powerful than us. So, therefore, in the upper planets, the inhabitants are far superior to the inhabitants of this planet in all matters of art, culture, and science, since they possess brains superior to those of human beings. So their brain power is certainly superior to the human beings. So that's why they excel the human beings in three categories mentioned here by Prabhupada, says in the art, culture, and science. If you take any of these divisions, obviously the demigods are much superior. I heard this example sometime back, that one worshipper, a human being, he wanted to understand the thinking of Brahma, Lord Brahma, how he creates this whole universe, and then so many living entities. So he started doing tapas to get darshan of Lord Brahma. And then finally Lord Brahma becomes pleased with him and then appears in front of him. Says, okay, my dear child, what do you want? He says, I want to know what's going on in your mind, in your brain. And Lord Brahma warns, no, you will not be able to hold it. He says, no, I am very, very desirous to understand what's going on in your brain. And Lord Brahma says, tathastu. Immediately that fellow's brain breaks into 100 pieces because he could not hold that information. What we don't understand is that our bodies are limited. A jiva's internal feeling is that I am not limited. But actually the body is limited. This is called dichotomy. There is something inside that we feel which is not true because our bodies are not like that. Internally, we feel that we are always young, youthful, energetic, plans, ambitions, desires. We want to jump, we want to fly, we want to float. These are the soul's desires. But then, what he is having, that body is actually not made, it's not tailored to suit his internal nature. So this dichotomy proves that internally actually we are spirit souls. You look at the ambitions of the soul, it proves that it is different from the body which is made out of matter. This is the beginning of spiritual life. To understand that my body is not spiritual, whereas I am spiritual. This is the beginning lesson in the spiritual life. Spirit doesn't have these limitations. Matter cannot, in its pure state, spirit can travel like Siddhas. It can travel anywhere. It can see the creation of God all over the existence, and it has tremendous abilities. Spirit soul is extremely powerful. Sitting here, our mind can reach any part of the world in a less than a second. For example, sitting here, we can visualize the Statue of Liberty. As soon as you are seeing that picture, that means you are there. Your mind is already there, traveled. Mind can travel like that. But then, above mind is intelligence. So you can imagine how powerful the intelligence is. And above intelligence is the ego. Now you can see how powerful that element is. And above ego is the spirit soul. Now you can see how powerful the spirit soul is. And interestingly, spirit soul is completely distinct from matter. Up to ego is all matter. Mind, intelligence and ego, they look like a personality, but actually they are also matter. They have no independent existence without the presence of the spirit soul. So, when the body is there, that body, although one feels that is very powerful and then he can do anything, that body has inbuilt limitations. Particularly when someone is very young, say in the 20s, he will feel as if he is, he can do anything, he can achieve anything. Once he comes to little older, then he'll see some pains there. He will realize, this body is actually miserable. Of course, nowadays even youngsters are having a lot of issues thanks to the living lifestyles and diet and all the other things. People are harassed by diseases, so they have some realization that yes, this is not perfect body that I got. There's some problem is there. Otherwise, one feels that his body is perfect and complete, which is actually an illusion. This body is distinct from his own personality, that is called the spirit soul. But then, if I am spirit soul, why is it that I am having this body? So that is called the bondage of the three modes. All the 8 varieties which are mentioned here, all these demigods, each and every one is under this control of the 3 modes. The way we are controlled by 3 modes, even these 8 varieties of demigods which are mentioned here, they are also bound by the same 3 modes. Everybody is struggling in their own way. In some functions maybe they are very superior to us, but the common problems will remain. They have to die. The original creator, the Brahma, Lord Brahma, who is mentioned here, he is also has to die. Those problems are common to everybody. But then one should realize that there are entities, they are much more powerful than us, and then they can perform wonderful things. Like Siddhas, they can just travel from one planet to another planet and then fulfill their will. So that is the uh, the prerogative of. So there are interesting forefathers. It is said that if they are pious, they are promoted to. There is one planet called Pitruloka, which is considered a higher planet, and so they are also powerful forefathers. If somebody is very desirous of seeing forefathers, they will be able to see. Like Janmejaya wanted to see his father, and he could have darshan of his father. Then there are asuras and demons. Even they are also very powerful compared to human beings. They can change their bodies. They can appear in any body. Like in movies you see, Ramayana, Adipurusha, whatever. So you can see there's sometimes the demons are shown with all the akrutas, all kinds of these things. There are not imaginations. A demon can take up such form. Like we have a famous example of Putana. She is a demoness, and then she can travel in the sky. And then when she came to the Vrindavan, she became a most beautiful woman. Everybody thought she is a goddess of fortune, and then allow her to go nearer to Krishna. So such asuras and demons have such abilities. Gandharvas, apsaras and are angels. Gandharvas. So some of these demigods, they are very good singers. They are into music and good dancers, apsaras. We see one apsara coming and dancing in front of Vishwamitra to break his vow. These apsaras are there. These angels and apsaras are mentioned in other religions also. And they are very desirous of their association, and they don't mind killing any amount of people here in order to go there and be with the apsaras and angels. So these descriptions are true. But then what they don't realize is that even if they go to heavenly planets and associate with these apsaras, one day apsara will die and he will die. And then again they have to come back to this world and start the journey again. Then the next one is yakshas and rakshasas, one more category. And then sixth one is siddhas, charanas and vidhadaras. We have understood about the siddhas. Prabhupada is mentioning here about the bhutas and pretas and jinn. How can they be demigods? Actually, they are put into that category because Prabhupada is saying here, they are also counted among the demigods because they are able to perform uncommon functions not possible for men. These pretas and bhutas and pichasas, they can perform. Generally, they don't have bodies, but sometimes they take bodies, and it is said that they'll be golden in color. And in some of the places, they practice this art of coming in touch with the bhuta, preta, pishacha. In the northeast and sometimes in the Kerala side, we see they will be handing over some lemons and many articles of worship to please this, bhuta, preta, pishacha. Actually, in Western countries also there are some traditions like that. One person is into worshipping these bhutas and pretas and pishasas. They call as black spirit, many names, jinn, here you have mentioned jinn. And so he and I think his daughter, they are all into this worship of the jinns and bhutas and like that. And they could contact these higher beings. At a certain point, immediately they get the connection. And then they will be talking to them. I want this, I have this requirement, like that. So these two people, they realized that although we have many things in life, still we are not satisfied. There must be some higher truth to our life. So one day, when they came in contact with this spirit, they asked those spirit, and they said, see, look, you tell me, what is my life? Who am I? Why am I suffering like this? Then those junior spirits said, no, these questions we will not be able to answer. I'll call my seniors. So looks like there are juniors and seniors in that community also. In every species you will see this organization. You cannot escape. So then they bring the most senior spirit to talk to these people. He says, no, these questions we don't know. Tomorrow you go to so-and-so store and you will get a book by which you understand what it is. So that person, these people, immediately they got excited and they went to the store. Then they realized, Arey, we have not asked which book. The store is full of books. So they saw some books on, Buddhism, Jinn and this and that. They picked up one of those books and they came to the counter. They are not sure whether this is the book or what is the book. So they are trying to contact the spirit. They are trying to remember the spirit, and then they go to the counter to pay the cash to get the book. They were about to pay the cash, and finally one book falls from top on their head. And then when they open and see, that is the book written by His Divine Grace. In fact, they have come to, then later on they read that book and they become Krishna conscious. And then they explain this pastime. So even the jinns and bhutas and pretas, they are recommending Prabhupada books. So we should know what a great boon that we have. This universe is blessed because of Prabhupada's presence. He came and he gave that knowledge which is so rare that even the universal living entities are aspiring. It is not, this aspiration is real. It is said that even the demigods will take birth on this planet in order to participate in this movement. Why? Because in 100 years maximum, we can live only 100 years. In 100 years, they can attain perfection, provided they take to chanting, dancing and feasting. That's all. So just by doing these activities, perfecting their lives, the demigods can go back to Krishna. So these demigods, we don't know who are all going to come here. A lot of these people come, but it is said that even the Rakshasas, the demons from the lower planets also, they come in order to stop this movement. So there will be interesting fights as we go on in this next 10,000 years. There will be powerful preachers and powerful devotee kings transforming the earth and creating a universal impact. And we will also see the demons trying to stop. But by the power of Sankirtan movement, it will be spread, and you will see that for the next 10,000 years, people are given this opportunity. Even now, there are many, many big demons are there. They oppose this movement. Demons means, don't think that, current demons they don't have these big these things and, all those different odd shapes. It's a nature, demoniac nature, the tendency to deny God. And then they can also become very powerful. In case they practice lot of tapasya, they can become very powerful. And then they very powerfully they'll oppose this movement. For example, they'll write one big, nice, powerful article in the name of science or this and that, and then they'll say there is no God. Or they will write big articles to say there is no next life, there is nothing called spirit, there is nothing like that. You see, there will be a lot of people fighting in a different way. So the social media, all these channels have brought this fight into a different level. So devotees also have to be prepared. We should be able to defeat these arguments on the basis of Srila Prabhupada books. No one can get such clarity as one can get from Prabhupada books. So take advantage of these books, particularly Srimad Bhagavatam. Don't divert your attention to any other. Srimad Bhagavatam, and then if you want to have a greater understanding, then Chaitanya Charitamrita. As and when we get time, go on reading these wonderful books which are recommended universally by everybody. So this is the opportunity we have. Take advantage and we can be blessed. I stop here. Any questions? Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
హరే కృష్ణ గోల్డెన్ టెంపుల్ వారి మరో అపురూప కానుక హరే కృష్ణ వాణి ఆధ్యాత్మిక మాసపత్రిక. ఇప్పుడు మొబైల్ యాప్ ద్వారా కూడా సులభంగా పత్రికలు చదువుకునే సౌకర్యం, వార్షిక సభ్యత్వం, భగవద్గీత, భాగవత ప్రవచనాలు, స్ఫూర్తి సందేశాలు, ఇంకా మరెన్నో సదుపాయాలతో హరే కృష్ణ వాణి మొబైల్ యాప్ నేడే డౌన్లోడ్ చేసుకోండి. మరిన్ని వివరాల కోసం కాల్ చేయండి 9133107700. హరే